EU-funded researchers, to be presented by our next speaker, Dr. Dragana Petrovic, who works at the European Liaison Office in the Research Department of the Université Libre de Bruxelles, where she advises and trains the researchers about the good practices in research data management and ethics. Mrs. Petrovic, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for the introduction, Diana. So before start speaking about research data management support that we provide to our researchers, let me briefly introduce our university. Université Libre de Bruxelles has been founded 186 years ago, and LIBRE in its name means free. So we value the most critical thinking at our university, and we follow principle of free inquiry since 1894. Nowadays, our university is situated not only in Brussels, but also in Charleroi, another city in Belgium, and in we have multiple campuses, and we are organized in 12 faculties. We have 10 highly quality interdisciplinary research centers and more than 200 research teams, where 4,500 researchers and staff members are employed. We have around 2,000 doctoral candidates and more than 240 doctoral theses defended each year. Our researchers broadly participate in EU programs, and they have a lot of EU funding projects, and in terms of FP7 and Horizon 2020 programs, our strategic priorities were and still are ERC grants and Marie Curie actions. So far, we had 40 ERC grants, all three types, and in terms of Marie Curie action, our researchers participate in program of individual fellowships, network like ITN programs, like as a coordinator or just partners. And we also presently have one co-found project where we employ 63 postdoctoral researchers. Beside that, our researchers also participate in collaborative projects, and we have presently 27 active collaborative projects where our researchers, as I said, are coordinator or partners as well. And also our researchers participate in many other European funding initiatives. And for all these European projects, European Liaison Office provides broad help starting from proposal preparation level and later on from the project management. And particularly, we provide support in research data management for our researchers, and we have a research data management support team. So from European Liaison Office, my colleague BRUXELLES and myself, in collaboration with our colleagues from Department of Libraries and Scientific Information, Françoise Van Doren and Anthony Leroy, we provide all kinds of needed research data management support to our researchers, because research data management, as we heard this morning as well, it's becoming key element to obtain research funding, and more funding research funders adopting policies on research data management. And as we know now in Horizon 2020, there is Open Research Data Pilot, and as we heard this morning, in Horizon Europe, data management plan will be mandatory, and a lot of stress will be put on good research data management for granted projects. Internationally, there are also initiatives for harmonization and research data management quality improvement. For example, there is Active Data Management Initiative from Research Data Alliance, and Science Europe works towards European guideline on research data management procedures. So what we advise our researchers, why they should manage their data. There is just obvious reason to meet requirements from funding bodies, but this is certainly not only and not the most important reason. So what we try to tell them that with a good research data management, they will increase impact of their research and they will get more credit for their work. Also, with a good research data management, they reduce risk of data loss that is not so rare in research. Also, they protect better potential IP rights and avoid some issues later on. They can save time in their later work because they have data that are well organized. And with a good data research management, they participate increasing transparency and integrity of scientific process and results. And last but not least, public funds are more efficiently used if research data is managed well, because if data is prepared for use, then we avoid unnecessary duplication of research efforts. So to start good research data management, it is necessary to have data management plan. So as you can see in this figure, making data management plan and planning research, it's an integral part of research data lifecycle. And this is part where all other aspects of research data management should be included. And this is formal document, but this is certainly key element of good data management. But what we notice in our practice, that the researchers are still afraid of making data management plan. So why it is so? There is a common prejudgment among researchers that this is really complicated and time-consuming. This is certainly not true, but the majority of researchers believe so, and because they have not been in situation to write data management plan, and they have that prejudgment. They also have prejudgment that this is pure administrative requirement, and at least researchers at our university do not like administrative things. But making data management plan is certainly not, as I said, only administrative requirements. It's a really key document. But one of the main reasons that a lot of researchers identify that data management plan, making data management plan, means immediately making data open. And recently I had a talk with a very experienced researcher, almost panicking that she that is not practicing her field to make data open before publishing data, and she was believing that making data management plan she will be forced to do so, and that this will spoil her research. So then our job is to calm researchers in this situation down, to explain them difference between making data management plan and making data open. But what I have noticed that even technology transfer officers share the same fear, and they don't like the data management plan. It's receiving such importance because they think that this will spoil their activities, and this will spoil possibilities of further commercialization of research results. That is certainly not true, because making data management plan, it's working to make data fair, findable, accessible, interoperable, and reusable. And this is not equivalent as making data open. So we are really trying to explain that to our researchers. Because fair data, as we heard this morning as well, and to repeat one more time, it's as open as possible and as close as necessary. So fair data can be open data. So freely available to anyone, but depending on situation, it can be restricted for use and can be closed even for certain period, depending if researchers work with a very sensitive data or personal data. Open data, it's also not fair automatically, because data can be open, but if not, standards has not been followed, so data is not interoperable, so it's not fair immediately. So we are really trying to put effort to explain to our researchers a difference between fair and open data. In terms of European projects, we advise our researchers to participate in Open Research Data Pilot when we speak about last Horizon 2020 program. And I'm proud to say that almost all our EU-funded researchers are part of this pilot study. And how we managed to do that, we have personalized approach to each application. So we go with our researchers through each step of application process. And when it comes to data management plan, we explain them that this is simply relatively short document. It's going to be useful for them. And what is the most important, that they will not be alone process of creating data management plan. And this is the most important aspect, because indeed we provide various levels of support to our researchers. We start from providing tools to them. We provide templates to them, because of course they can find templates online, but usually they feel better if we provide templates to them. And from experience, we know that certain aspects of data management plan are always less understood and problematic. So we implemented institutional guidance. So then we provide to our researchers template with detailed instructions, which is very helpful. Also, our researchers have access to DMP Online. This is online tool to produce data management plan, because our university is board member for developing this tool, and they have a choice between different templates. They have also institutional guidance there, but also some other writing tips. But the most important aspect of support we provide, it's a very personalized support. Our researchers always have possibility to have individual meetings. So then we really dedicated time to provide them personalized advice and support for really concrete data management plan they are making. And once data management, we have first draft, we can proofread, if researchers want, of course, proofread their data management plan and provide detailed feedback to them. We also have a database for internal use of examples of data management plan, and on demand we provide that to our researchers as well. We also have general support, web pages dedicated to research data management, a very detailed one with a lot of links for extra reading and external links for additional readings, and entire content of web pages can be downloaded as a guide and used offline. Last but not least, we provide training sessions to our researchers, and we presently have two main courses. It's a Research Data Management Basics. It's an introduction to basic concepts and best practices in research data management, and where no prior knowledge has been required. Depending on the interest of researchers, we organize in smaller groups interactive workshops how to create a data management plan. Finally, on demand, we can organize train the trainer if some research department, research group or center wants to train one of support staff to be local contact point for support for research data management support. We can provide that training as well. We put a lot of effort to motivate our researchers to write good data management plan. And when I mean write, it means just to create and follow good data management plans. So how we do so? We start asking questions. For example, if a member of your lab leaves, are you able to locate and use data from his or her research project? If a researcher has access to your data, would she or he be able to reuse them? So then with those questions, we try to point out to the researchers potential issues that they can face if they do not manage data well. Further, we explain things to them. We start from very basic, trivial things about format of data management plan, that this is not long document, that they have to be concrete. But what is very important to explain them that this is flexible tool and living document, because we notice that a lot of researchers are afraid that once they write data management plan, they have to stick to it. And of course, as every research project, many unexpected things can happen. We try to explain them that indeed, if there are changes in their research project, they should and they actually need to update that data management plan. And the data management plan that they write at the beginning of research project is not binding for them. We also provide technical information about encrypting software, for example, or legal requirements. And what is also very important aspect about storage and archiving possibilities. This is particularly important when we come to the research dealing with the personal and sensitive data, because our institutional policy is not to use public cloud solution for that, especially not US owned, company owned solutions, because there is a conflict between US Cloud Act and GDPR regulation at European level. And but of course, most of the researchers use public cloud solution in their research. And then they are not really willing to change their habits, because this requires a lot of effort, but usually researchers follow our advice. But some of them actually simply say, I do not care. I never had any issues, so I don't see, this is just theoretical risk about, and then we have to use convincing arguments. And for example, to show them that this risk is not just theoretical, we have several examples, and this is one of them, when actually using public cloud solution cause certain issues and security problems. And then this then helps to convince our researchers to change their habits and to follow instructions from university level. Finally, we also advise our researchers on ethical and legal aspects. When we have research dealing with personal and sensitive data, it is about correct procedures, about ethical approvals, informed consent, how to do anonymization, pseudonymization, secure storage, as I said. And there we closely collaborate with data protection officer and GDPR team at our university. Further, if we have research on humans, we advise about ethical approvals, or if it's a research about the genetical resources, we are there to advise researchers to comply with the Nagoya Protocol and ABS regulation. When researchers deal with the third-party data or collaborative data, we collaborate with the legal team at our university in making contracts, licenses, or collaborative agreements. And finally, if we recognize the data has valorization or commercial potential, we collaborate with Technology Transfer Office at our university. So just to conclude, I will share feedback from one of our young researchers. This is postdoc from co-found Marie Curie program, where exceptionally we are not only advisors, but we are also evaluators for that research. And that particular postdoc had a lot of issues to produce acceptable data management plan and acceptable quality. So I had to return his work multiple times before I approved it. And then only several weeks after approval, he sent me a message, following message: I have recently made extensive use of a software for a project, and now I have plenty of codes, and I'm sure that in a year I will completely forget all I have done in the codes, except if I make metadata for them. So now I'm starting to understand the philosophy behind DMP. So then I was really surprised receiving that message, because just after approving his data management plan, because I realized that he absolutely did not understand philosophy behind it. But on the other hand, I was also happy to see that he follows good practice in research data management. With that, I will thank you for your attention, and I'm open for any question you may have.
Okay, thank you very much for your presentation, Dr. Petrovic, and for presenting an example of working hand in hand of the librarians and the European Liaison Office to support researchers in research data management, and above all, I would say about the raising awareness that it's not only a legal obligation, but also that sound data management brings concrete benefits to the researchers themselves in the first place. And another hands-on example on supporting researchers by the university open science experts will be presented by Mr. Romain Ferret, head of the Open Science Service at the Libraries of the University of Lille. And Mr. Ferret, the floor is yours.